What if you could future-proof your family's memories? In this 4-part Flutterflow series, we'll create an app that doesn't just record memories, it transcribes them, uses AI to organize them, and makes them searchable for generations to come. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, each part of this series stands on its own to help you build an app that turns your family history into a living, breathing legacy. In this first video, we'll lay the groundwork for your app. You'll learn how to structure your UI and data efficiently and connect it securely to a database. Whether you're building along with us or starting something new, this video has everything to set you up for success in Flutterflow. In part 2, we'll dive into audio recording and transcription. You'll learn how to integrate custom code and backend APIs to deliver seamless audio recording and transcription, turning speech into searchable text. This comprehensive guide ensures every memory is preserved, one voice at a time. Flutterflow has all the tools to make your user experience unforgettable. And in part 3, we'll focus on dynamic design. From animated UI cards to custom text styles, you'll learn how to craft visually stunning components that enhance the storytelling experience. Even if you're just here for UI inspiration, this tutorial is packed with tips to level up your front end. In the grand finale, part 4 will bring the brains. You'll learn how to implement advanced search functionality with Algolia, harness AI to generate detailed summaries for each story, and make your content searchable and interactive in ways you never imagined. Each video in this series is packed with actionable steps and practical takeaways. Plus, we'll have clonable templates on Marketplace and Knack available for free that will get you started faster than ever. Whether you're a seasoned Flutterflow user or just starting out, this series will guide you through building a valuable app with some of the latest and greatest features within the platform. Let's make every memory count, starting now. We're going to break the process down into 4 steps. Before we jump into Flutterflow, it's always a good idea to have a solid understanding of what the user journey is going to be like. So I'm bringing out my trusty notebook, but I'm old school and you can use whatever note-taking solution you like. We'll start the user journey with a login page and create an account if they don't already have one. Then we're going to get all users to belong to a family group, which means they'll be able to see the memories of their other family members, as well as share their own. That will get our users to our main homepage, where you can see all of the eras of a person's life, like childhood up to adulthood. Clicking on an era will show you the entries your family have made about that era. Now it gets interesting from here. Our users should be able to record as well as listen to the entries within an era. Do we have 2 separate pages? I think we should try and combine both use cases into the one page as much as we can. All right, now the Flutterflow fun begins. Let's create a new project called Legacy. We get some helpful setup here and a link to a great tutorial, but let's hit start building for now. Before we do too much on the front end, as tempting as that can be, it's important to get the connections with our databases and supporting integrations properly set up. For this project, we're going to use Firebase for our database, but Flutterflow allows you to connect to Supabase, Cloud SQL, or SQLite. So if you're a fan of these databases, never fear, we'll be covering them off in an upcoming video. We're going to get Flutterflow to create a Firebase project for us. This is a great shortcut if you're starting from scratch and lets you bypass a lot of the repetitive, boring setup steps. However, if you've already got a project set up, you can enter a project ID in the box below, and Flutterflow will fill in the gaps. This takes about 3 to 5 minutes, which is a good opportunity for you to click that Docs button and get ahead of what's coming next. Because once our Firebase project has been created, we can see we have these 2 alerts over on the right. Click on the top one to set up Firebase authentication, which will take you through to the page in Firebase where you just need to click Get Started. You'll need to enable at least email password authentication for Flutterflow to be able to properly communicate with Firebase. The next alert is telling us we also need to set up Firebase storage. Again, this will take you through to the corresponding page in Firebase, but it's important to note that at this point, Firebase will tell you that access to storage means you'll have to upgrade your billing plan. So it's important to understand what this is for and what the cost implications might be. First off, it's not an either-or situation. If you have an existing storage solution, or even if you're using content from your own server, you can absolutely still do that. However, to use some of the inbuilt upload and storage features built into Flutterflow, you'll need to upgrade to the Blaze plan, which is a pay-as-you-go plan. The good news is that even on the Blaze plan, it's easy to stay within Firebase's always free usage limits. So the short answer is you don't have to, but there are some conveniences, both from a developer and a user perspective, to enabling Firebase storage. So if you want to do this, just select the Blaze plan and create a new billing account. Enter your details, and you can also set a budget amount of whatever you're comfortable with, and you'll be alerted at various stages through that being used up. Here you'll want to set up a no-cost location. Make sure you choose one closest to your primary user base. And click Continue. So once we have storage and authentication up and running, we just need to auto-generate the configuration files. To add users to the database, we need to create the users collection, which will store the information for our authenticated users. Just click this link here, which will take you to the page where we want to create the collection. If you click the Create Collection button and name it Users, Flutterflow will prompt us to add the default fields for a users collection. This is a great quick start. Next, we'll deploy our Firebase rules. We'll go into a bit more detail later on with these. For now, we're fine to deploy the defaults. You should also deploy the Delete User References option, as you'll require this if you deploy to any app store. This deploys a custom function that makes sure that the user references are removed from Firebase if the user decides to remove their user account from your app. Now let's set up the base elements of our UI. We'll come in here to colors and define our primary, secondary, tertiary, and text colors, as well as the background color. It's really important to set these up from the outset, because if you change your mind later on in the process, you can change your entire app in one click. I've got some colors I've used in the past, and I'm able to use upload from image, which will have Flutterflow extract the colors from that image. Next, let's talk typography. For legacy, I've got my own special custom font in mind, so I'm going to upload it here under Custom Fonts. Flutterflow will attempt to match the font style to the fonts you've uploaded, for example, normal to normal, bold to bold, etc. But you can double check them here. I'm going to set that custom font as my secondary font style and assign it to a few of my type styles. Now let's start building some pages. As we've already sketched out, we need to start with a login page. Flutterflow has a great feature here called Flows, which lets you set up things like authentication flows really easily. You can then update these and add your own branding. They're essentially a quick start for you to get up and running easily. Next, let's add in our eras and entries pages. And tell Flutterflow what our entry page and logged in page is. Now let's come into our login page and just check that everything's working the way we want it. When the user clicks the login button, it'll proceed to our home page, Similarly with Google and Apple login, though remember, we'll still need to add these into Firebase. Here under our Create Account page, we can see that it's missing that Confirm Password button that Firebase requires. So we'll just duplicate this password field and add it in here. So this Create Profile page, for now, we'll leave as is because we'll come back to it in a further video, but this will become our Create Profile and Family Group page. All right, now let's talk about data. This is a good opportunity to talk about how data is going to flow from our users collection that we've already set up further on into our app. So I'm sketching out here our data model. Users is our users collection. We'll also have a family groups collection, a collection containing all of the questions that we're using to prompt our users with so they can tell us some captivating stories. We'll have our eras, and then we need a collection to store all of the entries of user stories. The lines I'm drawing between the collections might look a bit strange, but they're telling us some really important things. The line from our users to family groups collection is saying that one user can have multiple family groups, but a family group can only have one primary user. So a family group can contain multiple questions, and each question can be asked of multiple family groups. This is what's called an entity relationship diagram, or ERD. It will make setting up our Firebase schema in Flutterflow really easy. And don't worry. The good news is that AI can help validate your sketch and help find any gaps that you might have forgot. Simply upload the image in and have it explain it to you. If the way data's flowing doesn't seem quite right, keep asking questions until it does. Once you have an idea of how all your data is going to be flowing back and forth in your app, we'll go into our Firebase collection setup and add in all our field names and data types. It gives you the option to generate these with AI, and sometimes that can be a great start. But also, knowing your data model inside and out can help get ahead of any issues later on. Oops, one final thing. Our eras collection will need to have an index so we can show our eras in ascending order of the index. Now let's add our eras into Firebase. Click the Manage Content button, and that will take you to Flutterflow's Firestore Data Manager. You can add a new document, and we'll add in our first era. Let's call it early childhood. I've got a URL of an image, and its blur hash will show while our image is loading off the server. And then we'll give it an index. And we'll plot out each era as we see fit. Now let's come into our eras page and add a page view. This will allow our users to swipe through all of our eras really nicely. We'll come and we'll create a new query on our Firebase collection. We'll query eras. We want a list of all our documents, so all of the eras, and we want to order them by the index we've set up, from 0, increasing. This will create our backend query, and it means that we only need one child in our widget tree, because Flutterflow will build out our widget based on the documents found in the query. So we'll set up our first page view here. We'll add in a stack, and then let's add an image. So that will come from our image URL from our eras document. Similarly, we'll use our blur hash and add that in from our eras document as well. To help us build out the UI in the most intuitive way possible, Flutterflow gives us the opportunity to add in a UI builder value here. This is helpful to understand how everything's going to look on the page. It's just for us within Flutterflow while we're building out. Now we'll add a column and we'll give our era a heading, and we'll use our nice custom font. All right, when the user clicks on this page, we want to navigate through to the entries. So we'll select entries in our action flow editor. For now, let's use the background from our era as the backdrop for all of the questions. So we can copy over that page view from our eras page. But to make this work correctly, we're going to need to pass some information from our eras page to our entries page. And the information we want to pass is that eras document. Because remember, from our data model, our entries references an era. That way we can make sure that the image and the blur hash of our background image matches the era our user has clicked on. Not only that, it allows us to do another Firestore query to get all of our questions. So our text will be easier to read. I'm going to lower the opacity of our image. Now we'll add a page view to allow users to swipe through the questions that we have for each era. And just like we did on the eras page, we'll do another Firebase query, this time on the questions collection, but we'll add some filters. One filter will be our family group ID, which we want to be equal to the family group ID of our authenticated user. We also want to make sure that the era the question relates to is equal to the era ID from our parameter that we've passed through to the page. And like before, this will generate children dynamically, so we can remove the other two page view pages. And in this column, we'll add some text. Now, this text will be the question that we're asking our user. So we'll set our text variable from our questions document. Next, we need a way for our users to initiate a session to tell us their stories. Now, we'll refine this in a further video, but for now, I have a toggle button library that I'm going to import using Flutterflow's new libraries feature. This allows us to import pre-built components into our project. That's a great time saver. So here under Settings, under Project Dependencies, we'll add our toggle button and then add it to our canvas. It requires a few parameters, such as the icon size, color, and what to do when the button is toggled. For now, let's just add in a snack bar which tells the user that we've started recording, while we set up our recording and transcription in the next video. Now we have an error here saying that our eras page isn't giving our entries page the required information. So we'll make sure that when clicked, we'll pass our entries page the eras document. Now, almost there. To keep us safe from any sort of runtime exceptions or null safety issues, we're going to create an empty list component so that if for whatever reason the query on our collection comes back as empty, our list will have something to show. For now, I'll create a new component called empty list, and under our page view, we'll enable the show empty list widget option and give it our empty list in case it has nothing else to show. So let's recap what we've built in part one. We've built a solid foundation for our app, a structured user experience, a UI we can easily expand on next, and a securely connected database. This groundwork sets the stage for everything still to come. You can access everything we built today in Knack, available now on the App Store or Play Store, links in the description below. In the next video, we'll level up by adding audio recording and transcription features, essential tools for capturing and preserving every story. You won't want to miss it. If you're enjoying the series, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you can be the first to know when part 2 drops. See you there.